says survey shows 55% of homeowners strapped for extra costs. So it said nearly 40% of Canadian homeowners said they're concerned about their finances, and fewer than half said they could afford more than a $200 increase in monthly costs. So going a bit further down in the article, where was it that was, it says here, it says only 45% said that they could afford. So the survey basically surveyed 1,500 Canadians. They were talking about, it said only 45% said they could afford a $200 to $500 increase in monthly payments, while 19% said they could afford $500 to $1,000, and 9% said they could afford an increase of $1,000 or more. So when we're talking about these, increased interest rates, even a $300 payment, as we talked about, that puts 45% of Canadians now saying that they couldn't afford that. So when we're in an environment where we have rising interest rates, this is obviously I'm sure a concern for a lot of the regulators and banks and for Canadians as well, obviously, because this is something that clearly is not possible, right? People just can't afford that change, and with the rising costs of inflation's at a 30-year high. Rising cost of gas, food, really everything. The only thing I think that's come down in Ottawa is daycare costs. Other than that, everything's gone up in price. And was there anything else in that article that stood out to the two of you as far as?
The one thing that kind of stood out to me by and large is it is referencing monthly costs in general, not specific to
Yes,
mortgages. This is also encapsulating food costs and gas costs and things like that. So like Paul said, costs are coming up across the board because of historically high inflation right now, which kind of adds to it. If it was just mortgage payments coming up, then I think there wouldn't be so much alarm. But when you have food costs jumping like they are and gas costs, it's kind of crazy right now. So this is something where when you're qualifying for a mortgage as well, one thing, we've talked about it before that came in 2018 is that stress test. So, people that are qualifying for a mortgage have been qualifying at, 4.79, 5, lately over the last year and a half, 5.25%, as if those were your monthly payments. So kind of that is caked into what people were making, being able to afford that. But I think that's where people do stretch and maybe get a cosigner on, a parent, things like that, where they are stretching, where they can then qualify for that mortgage, but not being cognizant of their budget. And that's something that I know Paul and I always speak to people of. It's one thing to look at what you qualify for as a maximum to purchase a home, but you need to be cognizant of what your budget is. And I think over the last 2 years, and possibly some of these people have forgotten what their pre-pandemic spending habits were as well. They forget what their social life was like before COVID, or restaurants and services they were going to. And as things open up now, or have been open, that they're back to regular spending, that now things are jumping in cost, and are also wanting to get back into going out for dinner or things like that. And it kind of, that all plays into it.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, because we'd really like that.